You know that tightening in your chest when you check your bank account, bracing for the worst? Or the mental exhaustion of standing in the grocery aisle, doing the math to figure out if you can afford coffee without having to eat ramen until payday? A lot of personal finance experts claim you need $1 million net worth or a massive six-figure salary to finally shake that anxiety. But they skip over a much smaller, far more achievable milestone. Building your savings from absolute zero is exhausting. It feels exactly like trying to shove a massive boulder up a steep, rocky hill. You put in an incredible amount of effort, sweat over every penny, and barely see any progress. But there is a specific point where the physics of this struggle change, both mathematically and inside your brain. That number is $20,000. Reaching $20,000 is the dividing line. On one side, you have a lifetime of stressing over money. On the other, you set the foundation for wealth to build itself. When you have almost nothing saved, your brain is operating in what psychologists call survival mode. Every single financial choice you make is filtered through a lens of fear and immediate threat. Your brain literally cannot plan for future growth when all your mental energy is consumed by the panic of stretching your last few dollars to the next paycheck. It's like trying to plan a vacation while your kitchen is on fire. Accumulating roughly $20,000, which covers about 3 to 6 months of living expenses for most people, acts as a psychological fire extinguisher. It puts out the immediate flames and clears the smoke from your mind. Without savings, a flat tire or a broken laptop is a devastating emergency that derails your entire month. With a cash buffer in the bank, those same events are just minor annoyances. Because you aren't constantly reacting to disasters, you have the safety to notice opportunities to grow your money. That first $20,000 buys something much more valuable than a new gadget. It buys the mental bandwidth required to stop panicking about survival and start actively building wealth. This timeline shows how long it takes to reach your first $20,000 if you save $1,000 a month and earn an 8% return on your investments. It takes 19 grueling months of absolute discipline. But watch what happens next. To save your second $20,000, making the exact same monthly effort, it only takes 17 months. Your existing money is now generating its own returns and pulling some of the weight for you. Your money earns money, and those earnings earn even more. By the time your portfolio grows to $400,000, making that next $20,000 takes just 5 months. The money itself is doing almost all the heavy lifting. This is why $20,000 is the turning point. It is the exact moment your financial boulder reaches the top of the hill and gravity finally starts working in your favor. Because getting started is mathematically the hardest and slowest part of the process, pushing through the initial friction is the only way to reach the point where your money starts gathering speed on its own. Living paycheck to paycheck also keeps you trapped in your career. You cannot negotiate for a better salary or push back against a toxic boss because you simply cannot afford to lose your income. Having $20,000 saved gives you walking away money. It means you have the financial runway to quit a terrible situation today and survive for months while you find something better. Just knowing you have that safety net alters how you carry yourself at work. You negotiate for the raise you actually deserve, you set healthy boundaries, and you volunteer for challenging projects because the fear of getting fired is gone. People notice that quiet confidence. It naturally leads to better assignments, stronger recognition, and a higher salary, which allows you to save money even faster. When you no longer desperately need the job to survive, you often find yourself becoming much more successful at it. Warning tone. The biggest mistake you can make when you finally hit this milestone is treating the money like a reward for good behavior. So many people hit $20,000 and immediately empty their account on a down payment for a shiny new car. Every dollar spent on a car that loses value is a dollar that can't grow. You're trading hundreds of thousands of dollars in future investment returns for a piece of metal that will only become less valuable over time. The person driving that flashy new car is often secretly stressed about making the high monthly payments, while the person driving an older, reliable sedan is sleeping peacefully, knowing their wealth is quietly growing. Building that first $20,000 requires tracking your spending, saying no to impulses, and sticking to a plan. Doing that proves to yourself that you actually have the discipline to control your money and delay gratification. Once you build that financial self-control, you stop obsessing over $3 coffees or generic cereal. You know how to manage your habits, which frees you to focus your energy entirely on the big strategic choices, like your housing and your investments, that actually move the needle on your net worth. While $20,000 won't make you an overnight millionaire, it provides the foundation you need to stop reacting to emergencies and start designing your future. The strain of getting that boulder moving from a dead stop is very real, and it will test your patience. But the math guarantees that if you keep pushing, the burden will eventually get lighter. Put your shoulder into it and start pushing that financial boulder up the hill today. Accept the short-term struggle right now because your future freedom absolutely depends on it.